Nathan Judo. I'm here with Wolves reporter Mr. Liam Keane. Liam, Man City 1, Wolves 0. Look, there's quite a few talking points in this. Let's get to the, I guess the two biggest ones. First of all, the red card, RAUL Jimenez. Look, I mean, he's been a silly boy, and I'm kind of frustrated, really. He should be frustrated himself.
I think so. Totally agree. I think let's break it down. The foul itself, John Moss, the referee, had set a precedent with yellow cards for Rodri and Diaz 10-15 minutes earlier, with fouls on the transition. Something Bruno Lage had actually called for after the Liverpool game. He said they should be bookings every time.
Yeah.
There's people arguing online that RAUL hasn't done it in the transition. For me, I think he has. He's pulled Rodri back, he pulled his shirt back as he's attempting to drive forward with the ball. That's a transition in my book, and it's a yellow card. Regardless of what you think of that yellow card, he then attempts to block the resulting free kick, gets warned about it, and then goes to block it again. And the fact that he's done it once and been warned about it, it is the worst part, because he's aware of what he's doing. He's aware of the mistake he's making. He still makes it. Referee John Moss, whether you agree with it or not, sends him off. For me, it's silly.
He's not 19 years old. He's 29, 30. He's better than that, isn't he? He's one of the most experienced people in the night. He needs to lead by example. You're frustrated with the booking, but at the same time, like you say, when you've had that warning, that's just pure stupidity.
It's just naive, isn't it? That's the word for it, naive. A player of his quality, his experience, as you say, shouldn't be doing that. And I know a lot of people will probably agree with me that, for me, he's let Wolves down today. It's difficult to say whether that red card is going to mean that Wolves go on and win the game or don't win the game. It's difficult to say. But the fact that he misses Brighton is probably a bigger talking point than today, to be honest. He misses that one game now, and that's a game that Wolves will go in there hoping to win.
And look, 11v11 versus Man City is difficult enough, but 11 versus 10, and it's now impossible, in the second half. And someone would argue it's 12 versus 10 when you see there Moutinho's penalty. I mean, I'm still flabbergasted, really. I mean, look, whether or not people having a lot of go about VAR, it's VAR for me is secondary to the actual issue of John Moss giving that penalty. If John Moss doesn't give that penalty, I don't think VAR overturn it. They go with the decision, and the decision for me was completely wrong. It's hit him in his armpit, and it's just, he's running in to stop the ball. It's not as if you can keep your arms down when you're doing that. Of course, the motion's going to be there with your arm running forward. It's just natural when you're running with the football. But that's just scandalous for me.
VAR for me, it's got its own issues, but I agree. VAR isn't the issue today. Whether you like it or not, the rules are and how VAR is used is that I agree with you. Had it gone either way, the VAR side would have agreed with the referee decision. Look, I'm very careful when it comes to referees because I'm aware of how difficult a job it is. A referee's not going to get everything right. VAR should be there to help them, but clearly isn't.
But you're better than John Moss, mate.
I've seen him once this season, away at Celta Vigo in the pre-season friendly at Molineux, and he was horrendous. Could not keep up with the game, could not make a decision, could not keep control of the game. Again today, made several dubious decisions, and when it comes to that penalty decision itself, I think that is really, really, really poor. I think it's a shocking decision. Now, if we give some, play devil's advocate, Moutinho's got his arm up. He shouldn't have it there, probably. If we're being honest, he probably shouldn't do that. He knows that, experienced player like himself, he knows that it gives the referee an opportunity to give a decision. But surely he has to see, and VAR has to see, that he's hit his armpit. He hasn't hit his arm. It's not a handball. I do not understand that decision whatsoever. And it sums it up when we're sat there, surrounded by City fans, turning around, looking at the monitors that we've got in front of us and saying, that's never a penalty. And that, any football fan surely can see that's not a penalty. Yet the man in charge today thinks it is, and that's what's wrong for me with the best league in the world. It's got some of the worst officials in the world.
And the frustrating thing, I guess, from an overall game point of view, is that City weren't really at the races today. They weren't great. They had plenty of possession, as they're going to do here. They knocked it about nicely at times, but they weren't massively threatening in the game until the game opened up and Wolves were chasing it last 15-20. Of course, you're going to have big chances there, but the sending offs completely changed it. And I thought that Traore and who I thought was excellent and. For me, shouldn't have been taken off anyway. But I thought him and RAUL were linking up well, and they were always a threat. They were always a threat, albeit on the break. But you're always going to do that here. Now, like you say, it's left them an uphill task. Now they've got to go to a well-rested Brighton. Now without their main striker, you've got Fabio Silva, who's had 30-odd minutes of football this season. You've got Hwang, Traore, Trincao, Podence. You've got different options. What I think anyway, Liam, is that for me, okay, Liverpool and Man City are. you know, the game was dictated, the game flow with the red card. They've got to go and attack Brighton. They cannot play like they have played in the last 2 games. They've got to create chances, and they've got to, because Brighton will score probably, and you can't go and play. If you play like this in the next 2, you play this at Brighton, you're going to lose 1-0.
Brighton don't score many, Wolves don't concede many. It's got 0-0 written all over it, hasn't it? I'm saying that because I'm not going to be there.
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
Look, it's. I'll give Wolves. You know, there is some positives from today. I thought they defended very well. I thought Kilman and Cody in particular, but also Sice, to his credit, were very good. Sice got caught out a few times with Sterling, who I thought had a good game despite his ability to hit the floor at almost any point. But I thought he did have a good game, to be fair to him. Look, Wolves, they're a solid unit at the back. They really are, and I thought they did very well today against. I agree with you, City probably weren't quite at it as usual, but they were still very good.
Yeah.
They were an unbelievable side, and I thought Wolves kept them at bay for large parts of that. And going into what looked like a half-time and 0-0 with 11v11 would have been a very, very good half, despite that moment of madness. They've got an opportunity now at Brighton, and I thought Trincao came on today, did okay, a couple okay touches. Podence set up that chance for Kilman at the end, could have scored. Hwang came on, didn't do lots, but he was up there on his own, and I agree with you, Traore should have stayed on. So he's got options. He's not going to start with Fabio Silva. I'll be shocked if he does, but he's got options, and I can see at Brighton him playing 3-5-2 again with no Jimenez. I can see Hwang and Traore playing together.
That saved me a few quid anyway. Worried at one point, but
yeah, it was. You know, had it not been for a dubious penalty, you'd be buying a few points. I think
they were going to get a draw from this game, didn't it? Honestly, you could just see the game flow the way it was going. Not to be. Man City 1, Wolves 0 for the post-match reaction. Make sure you log on to expressandstar.com.